Audio Jungle.
It was the cold evening of 3rd of February 2020, and I was sitting on a ground in my Bermudas, packing a shoe in a box. And though I was doing this very carefully, but somewhere my mind was in a distant future, traversing through my past, through the future, and just thinking that how the things will fall in line and how my startup Louis Stitch will go from here, right? So I have been keeping fairly well in the studies, getting good CGPAs, good marks, being the merit holder always amongst the top two, top three students in my colleges, in my school, right? But had never thought that someday I will be polishing and packaging a shoe in a box, right? This was something, and I was smiling at myself, just thinking, so what could be the future of this? So in short, it was feeling me like that I am traversing through the future, seeing the future options, what could it be, what could it not be. So in point, so what I am suggesting is, we find ourselves very comfortable, in the three-dimensional space. We call it the three-dimensional or the spatial dimensions. And as a human, we are made to perceive, and we feel complete in the three dimensions that we have around us. We usually don't have the control over the time, or even if we know that there is a time direction that exists, right? But we don't have any control over it, right? Even only in our thoughts we can go in the past or maybe in the future sometime. Excuse. Yeah. So anyone, what is a tesseract cube, or what is a hypercube? Let me explain this to you. So we know that the world is into 3D. This is how we see, right? But when we place a time dimension to it, this becomes a 4D space, right? And a tesseract is a scientific theory behind this, right? That uh, in maybe in the science fiction, that people can travel through the time, or they can get into the past, they can come into the future, right? So this is how a tesseract cube is usually seen in the science fiction. Do these images remind you of anything, or any science fiction? Any one of you, please. Absolutely right. So this is from the Avengers, right? And a very known science. You know, it's a science fiction, right? So in this one, there is a hero and there is a villain, right? So hero is trying to save the world by capturing this mysterious tesseract cube, right? And there's a villain, of course, who is trying to get this tesseract cube just because he wants to control the world, right? He wants to control the time dimension of the world. He wants to get into the past, into the future, right? So what I'm suggesting here is, people are trying to get into the dimensions which we are not usually privy of, right? The ultimate objective or goal to get into any additional dimension is to control, right, or to take the control of things which we cannot control right now, right? So there are multiple theories behind explaining the dimensions of the space, right? So there is a string field theory, and there are multiple again studies behind it. So superstring theory, which tells us there are 10 dimensions in the world, in the universe. There is a M theory, which suggests there are 11 dimensions in the universe, and of course the Bosnic theory, which even suggests there is a framework for 26 dimensions, right? But here the ultimate thing starts from the origin, or maybe the point of birth, right? So you can control anything for yourself once, of course, you have taken a birth in this on this earth, right? So when you do this is not right. So again, another example from the movie Avengers, so the Infinity Wars, right? The Doctor Strange tried to traverse through the multiple possibilities, 14 million possibilities of future, wherein he quickly traversed through all those future possibilities, right? And see one option where the Avengers can win, right? So, and this is how this starts for us also, right? So the point when we take the birth, right? So from that particular point, you have seen multiple people saying that, this is the thing that I want to do. I want to be a photographer, I want to be a fashion designer, I want to be an engineer, this and that, right? I want to be a scientist in NASA, I want to travel the space, right? So everybody is, trying to uh, map their future, right, from their origin itself, right? And parents, sometimes when kids are not able to find a, perfect future for themselves, parents tell them that you have to become a doctor, you have to become a scientist, so and so forth, right? But this all thing starts from the origin, right, from your birth. Your future depends, or anybody's futures depend on, how which path you take, right? So point one is, you go to a good school, you go to a bad school, you study, you don't study, in which field you study, right? Which college you go, what possible streams that you take, right? So there are endless possibilities to it, and you have to traverse through these possibilities. You have to keep selecting these possibilities at every juncture of your life to become the best possible human for yourself and with the best possible outcome. So when I say that, there is a origin, and how people take it, right? So how they decide their future, right? So I see this signs of going through the multiple dimensions, seeing what is the possibility for the future as an art of the entrepreneurship. Absolutely right. So in other terms, we also see entrepreneur something who is someone who is risk taking, right? Who can work 17, 18 hours in a day, or maybe a good leader, good mentor, right? So and so forth, right? But how I see an entrepreneur is someone who can think of different dimensions, right? Who can foresee the future, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line, right? And then start building something from the origin, right? So an entrepreneur is an architect for the tesseract, right? So it may have multiple dimensions, right? So business is of course one of the dimension. Another dimension could be the well-being for the human, for creating a good future for everyone, right? But an entrepreneur from the scientific, angle, when I see he's an she is an, the artist of this tesseract. So many of you would have been, studied, or would, study in your futures some of the management lessons and the business strategies, right? So one of them, which is very prominent, is of course the SWOT analysis, wherein, we get to know about a company. So what are its strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, right? So let me take an example. So let's say you start a venture today, right? And how do you evaluate, should I get into this or not? This is a basic business strategy analytical framework. You see what are your strengths. So today your strength may be a little bit know-how, that you know your industry, you know what you want to do, right? A little bit of strength, or a know-how becomes your strength. The weakness could be that you know that you may not be able to, compete in this market, right? Because you are very, very minuscule, you may not have those resources. The opportunity for you initially could be that the market is exploding, it's growing, right? There is a good headroom in the market to grow, right? And threat could of course be that, you are very small, as I said. So, and there could be hostile takeover for you. There are multiple things that can stop you from working, right? So this becomes a very risky proposition, and this is because most of us could not lead to the path of the entrepreneurship, right? We get scared at the very first stage, we get scared at the origin itself, right? But a true entrepreneur, right, when I see from the scientific angle, right, so he does not take this today, yeah, right? So what is there today, right? He sees 5 years down the line, or maybe down 10 years down the line, and what he does to this four-dimensional SWOT analysis, he puts two more dimensions to it. So one could be your entrepreneur vision, and other is the time dimension, right? So he does not see what is there today, he see what's gonna be there after 5 years, right? So this little know-how, you are betting upon it, right? That this little know-how uh, can make you start business today, right? But how an entrepreneur will take upon it that this little know-how after 5 years will be totally invaluable, right? Because everybody would have copied you, right? So this know-how may not hold its practicality after 5 years down the line, right? Your weakness today was that you're very minuscule, but after 5 years, there may be a case that get a substantial market share, or you may get substantial in size, right? So that weakness is not a weakness right now, right? The opportunity which was today, that there is an immense market for your product to be sold, but after 5 years, there may be enough competitors, the market may have saturated, there may be a consolidation in the market, right? So there is no such opportunity lying there, right? The threat which was today, which scared of you that you might be taken over off, right? Or maybe somebody can stop you from working, right? This threat becomes another thing from a different angle, that you become a sizable and you can also acquire some of your competitors, right? So when I see from this an entrepreneur point of view, putting these dimensions of the entrepreneur vision and the time dimension to it, right? So now my know-how, which was my strength, has become my weakness. My weakness, which was my size, small size, after 5 years has become my strength because you gain size. Your opportunity, which was the market share, could have become threat, and the threat of being acquired would actually become your opportunity, right? So because you will have money in the bank and you will have a size so that you can acquire, maybe some of your competitors, right? So similar, there is another strategic framework which is Porter's five force model, right? So this model usually tells the competitive rivalry in the market or maybe the potential of an industry, right? So there are five different dimensions from which the author has seen or has designed this Porter 5-4 model. Is of course the competitive rivalry. There is a buying power, buyer's power, supplier power, right? There is a threat of substitution. There is a threat of new entry in the market, right? Now let's assume you start a business in telecom with maybe a $1 million in your pocket, right? $1 million in your pocket. Now at this point in time, when you start this business with just a very minuscule amount, right? Everything will work against you. Competitive rivalry will be too high. Your buyer's power will be high. Supplier power will be high. Your substitution can be anything, right? And the of course new entrants can come in the market like you are entering in the market, right? But when we put another time dimension to it, or maybe the money dimension to it, along with the entrepreneur's vision, right? So this takes totally the game behind this startup totally changes, right? So let's say instead of $1 million, you have $1 billion in your pocket, right? And the entire situation flips there, right? Now you can undercut the prices, you can build the infrastructure, right? And ultimately you can disrupt the market, right? When you have $1 billion in your pocket, you can subsume some of the losses also, right? But you can compete in the market, right? And what happens in that case? The competitive rivalry becomes zero. Your buyer power or your supplier powers become zero. There is a no threat of substitution in the market because what you are building, nobody is able to stand by you. And the ultimate thing, which is the entry of a new entrant, right? So that also become minuscule because you are coming in the market very sizable investment, right? So there used to be a time when we have seen there were more than 10 or 11 telecom players in the market. There was an entry of Reliance Jio, which came with the same bang on strategy. They can think of two more dimensions beyond this five dimensions of the Porter, right? And when they launch in the market, now we know there are only three players in the market, right? We all know, and this is how they have built their empire, right? So this is how an entrepreneur does not just see what is there today. They see from a different spatial dimension that what gonna happen after 10 years, after 20 years, and how they gonna prepare for it. The another very strategic framework, this is from the Boston Consulting Group, right? It's called the BCG metrics, right? So maybe in future you will also read about it, right? So they have divided this into the four different categories. One is of course cash cow, star, question mark, and dogs. Cash cow are something which has already gained a prominent market share in the market, right? They cannot grow much, but they are generating good revenues, right? Now we all know that how the globalization and this LPG your privatization, globalization in 1991 has changed the entire perspective of India as the international market, right? So when we put this dimension, right? So there may be a company who has achieved some good market scale right now, right? There is no enough headroom to grow, right? But they are generating revenue, right? So they are starving to grow, right? But when you put a new dimension here, which may be the globalization, right? And of course the entrepreneur vision to it, you see when you expand yourself to the global markets, right? So this scarcity of headroom in the market totally grows up, right? So now you have the market, the global market to expand upon. So immediately your cash cows, which were starving for a market share to grow, becomes your stars, right? So they get the market share, they are earning good money is also for the for the shareholders, right? Your stars, right? So which were gaining attraction also, which were doing good also, right? So they may become your question mark. What will happen? Will they be able to compete in this global market or not? And your dogs, of course, which are not doing anything in the domestic market, may totally vanish, right? So what I am trying to suggest here is the entrepreneurs see this world, or maybe from totally a different perspective. This is not that they live in future, in the current scenario. They don't take the decision basis the current scenario, or how the these strategic frameworks are telling them to do, but they envisage the future. They try to do something different, right? And this is a different perspective. This is how we see. Right. So as I initially said, so there is a origin, right? So from where you start controlling the things. And for an entrepreneur, this origin is the inception of the idea. When you start thinking, yes, that I want to do something, right? So there could be endless possibilities, endless dimensions from where you can see, or can perceive that how the things will go in the future, right? So we have spoken about time dimension, money dimension. There could be a globalization dimension. There could be technology dimension, right? There could be n number of possibilities. But the thing is, we have to see from a perspective that nobody else is seeing, right? So this is how I see the entrepreneurship. So the future is uncharted, right? Launching a 10-minute delivery when there was no such market, no such market was existing. Getting a cab at your doorstep when the norm was to hail the cabs from the roads and waiting for them. And today the cabs wait at your doorstep. Planning a city on the moon, right? Which seems very, very whimsical, and it's a totally futuristic thing, right? We cannot perceive this right now, right? But there is an entrepreneur behind it who is usually thinking, it's all an example of the multi-dimensional, or a, multi-dimensional thinking, right? So this is how an entrepreneur is usually seen doing all this thing, right? This is a sheer example that somebody can foresee, somebody can, in concept, or maybe in his mental mind, can travel the future and can see what's going to happen after 20 years, or 30 years down the line, right? So for me, and how I see this entrepreneurship is how far you can think, how many dimensions you can think of, right? And how bold you can take the decisions right now, preparing for the future, seeing that after 10 years, 20 years, this will be the case, and boldly taking the decisions, and designing your future, or working on your future today, right now. So an entrepreneur is an architect of an tesseract, wherein he travels through this tesseract cube and defines the future for you and I. Thank you so much.